Hey buds, how's it going? I am MC and I've just got a short video for you today. I'm trying out block printing again, and not to spoil anything, but I do think this attempt was a little bit of a fail. I wanted to come up with a simple design for this block so that I could be able to practice carving some straight lines and some simple curves. So I decided to draw these fun little devil horns very similar to other designs that I've drawn before. And I like what I came up with for this carving. I just think that the block I was carving on was where things started to go downhill a little bit. I used one of the beginner Speedy Carve Speedball soft blocks, and I think I just found it way too soft, and I actually found that how soft it was made it very unforgiving. I really noticed it at first when I was marking the block with some crosshairs to make sure I could center my transfer. I was using a 4B pencil, so pretty soft graphite, and that was even cutting through the block. My marks aren't just little graphite lines, but actual grooves left in the block from the pencil. And I have heard people complain about the soft blocks for that reason, so I wasn't too surprised that I was finding it to be true. At some point you'll see a dark line appear over part of the design, and that was me trying to outline it with a black marker. I did want to try and work with a darker and more permanent outline, but I found that the residue that came off the soft block kept blocking up the marker I was using, so I just gave up. But the graphite line from the transfer stays on the block perfectly fine, so it's not a big deal. It just would have been me trying something new and seeing if I liked it any better. But yeah, carving these soft blocks is really like walking on eggshells. It felt like anywhere the chisel touched would create a bit of a groove, so I understand that the toughness of the block is good for a beginner that's learning how to use their chisels, but it almost feels like the softer block might actually require a more advanced technique and a better knowledge of how to work with the block itself to be able to get the effect that you want. I could see myself having a better idea of how to work with the soft blocks the more experience that I get, but for now it just almost felt frustrating how easy it was to work with and how soft it was, which definitely feels like a backwards thing to say. But now that I'm more comfortable with the chisels, I'm really interested to see what I think of the harder linoleum blocks. I'm really interested to see if I can get crisper and more accurate lines with a little bit more resistance from the block. So that's my plan for the next carving that I do, learning how to sharpen my chisels and then digging into one of those. I'm gonna try and do something a little bigger and with a little bit more detail, so I might be getting a little bit greedy, but we'll see how it goes when I get there. So it's not the worst, but this second attempt at carving felt like a little bit of a step back from the first one, and I'm definitely not as happy with the result of this one compared to the last. And I do want a nice stamp of this design, so it's probably going to be one that I'd like to redo and try and carve again. I like the concept and I have ideas for how I'd like to use it, and this carving is just not up to the standard that I hoped for. I'll probably do it again on another soft block and just on my own time for practice. When I've already carved the design, it does feel like a bit of a waste, but while I'm learning, it's something that I can't really think about in that way. And it might just be interesting to see how much I've improved by the time I get around to recarving it. And regardless of the result, it's really just so much fun to carve these. Even if it doesn't come out perfectly, it's just so satisfying to do. And I hope it's satisfying to watch. I noticed while I was editing this video, I moved the block around to weird spots in the frame, so I think I need to work on my angles a bit and be a bit more mindful of that. But yeah, I don't know how much more I have to say. I know this is going to be a pretty short video, so if I couldn't think of enough to say to fill in the space, that's kind of crazy. I did consider not even posting this video for how short it was and the result of the carving, but I figure it's part of the learning process. It's not always going to be as perfect as you'd like, and yeah, hopefully we're only going to go up from here. Anyways, with that said, I hope it's the end of the video. If it's not, enjoy the last 30 seconds without me talking. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and you'll see me in the next one.